This is a new Mobula6 from Happy Model. There's something really cool about this, and I gotta tell you about it right away. This board here, it has built-in HDZero. This is an all-in-one with an HDZero VTX already in there. ELRS, HDZero, ESCs, flight controller, all the good stuff baked into this board, meaning I have a 65mm whoop that does HD and it's less than 20 grams. Yeah, of course this thing flies great. And there's even a new camera on this that they developed that's pretty darn good. Stay tuned, we'll learn a little bit more about it. Okay, so this isn't a full review. I have a pre-production model, so there may be some things that are different. One thing that I know is different is this camera mount here. Mine was a 3D printed part. I know that it's going to be different for the production model, but they had to 3D print this thing because it has a new camera they call the Lux Camera. And there are two versions of this new HDZero Mobula6. There's the Freestyle and then there's the Race. This Freestyle one checks in just under 20 grams. They say 19.9. It's 20 on my scale, but I don't have enough significant digits to verify it any differently. And then the racing version has the Eco camera. Now we've seen the Eco camera before, and that's a little bit lighter, and they say, I think 19.3 grams. I don't have one of those. Again, I can't verify, but pretty awesome tiny whoop with HT under 20 grams. Yeah, you better believe these things fly pretty awesome. So I've been running through packs on this thing like crazy. In fact, I just picked up another one of these. What is it called? The We Fly Whip Store 3. I had one of these before, the oldest version, the first one. It's awesome because I can charge 6 batteries. I can discharge or storage charge 6 batteries at a time. Actually, because I have 2, I can do 12, and I'm constantly charging 12 batteries at a time now that I have one of these things. It's awesome. Anyway, if you're interested, I'll throw a link down below. But you know, let's talk about the batteries, the battery connector right off the bat. Let's go through some specs, right? So I mentioned the batteries. We've got a G&B A30 connector, which means it also works with BT 2.0. It's nice that we finally made that switch, and we kind of have this right angle connector going on here, which works well for this style of battery. All right, other things that are important, we've got 0702 28,000 kV motors, and I did switch the propellers. I put a little bit more aggressive prop on here. This came with a toned down version, pretty much the same style prop as I got on my Air 65 Freestyle, but either way, these aren't the props that came with it. I put on this a little bit more aggressive one. I just kind of like the way that it grips and adds a little bit more cornering ability for me. You know, I've crashed this thing obviously a bunch. I did crack this camera holder here, but of course, you know, it's 3D printed. I believe they'll probably mold something. But either way, this board is fantastic. It's tiny, right? And that really is the star of the show. I love that now we have an all-in-one board with HDZero built into it. So it's an F411, a BMI 270 gyro, 5 amp BL Heli S ESC, 5.8 built-in VTX with HDZero, and it's an SPI Express LRS receiver. It's a 28.5 by 28.5 with 25.5 mounting holes. So that means you can buy this all-in-one board from HDZero or from FPV retailers. It's $100. So I want to talk a little bit about these two camera options. The Lux, that's the one that I have on this drone, and it has the larger sensor. It can do 4.3 or 16 by 9, but it is about a half a gram heavier. We have wide dynamic range, so you know, better camera, $16 extra. Or do you want the Eco, which is still pretty good, and we'll take a look at that one side by side, so you can kind of decide, do you want the lighter, less expensive camera, or do you want the best? Okay, so we're going to look at this Lux camera in the absolute not fair comparison. Analog, right? This is my Mobula6 2024 edition on the right, and the new Lux camera on the Mobula6 HD Freestyle on the left. Yeah, HDZero is better, right? People that complain and say that it isn't, it's just glorified analog. Absolutely not. It's really not even fair. Now, how does this compare to the Eco camera? Now, on the right here, I have my Eco camera, and I've done some tuning on the settings to make it look as good as I can, and I think it's still very clear that this Lux camera is better. Now, it's more expensive, it's a little bit heavier, so you kind of have to weigh that into your consideration, but gosh, it's so nice to have options, HD options for tiny whoops. And this was all done inside. I'll show you some outdoor footage on this Lux camera as well. This is my basement, right? Not the world's greatest lighting situation for small cameras like this, but you know, I think it does a nice job, and it's awesome that we have these lightweight options. Okay, so let's just talk about flying this thing. It is great inside. I love 65mm whoops indoors, but this thing actually does pretty good outside as well. I took it outside. I had these fun inflatables up in my yard for a race, and they just seemed to be kind of like the perfect gates. It was kind of a windy day, but this thing did just fine, sure. Like, did it get pushed around in the wind a little bit? Yeah, of course. It's a 65mm whoop that weighs less than 20 grams, but it's a blast to fly inside. It's a blast to fly outside. This thing is just awesome. I believe this version, the freestyle version with the good Lux camera, is about $200, and the racing version, which has the Eco camera, is $189. So you can buy these as bind and flies. You can build your own. Listen, HDZero it's the way to go for these tiny little quads, and it's awesome to see this all in one board. Now, a couple of things you're going to want to do as soon as you get it: grab some E6000 and throw a little dab right here over the UFL connector. You don't want that thing popping off because it's going to burn out your VTX, and that would be bad. I also added a little dab of glue around the whoop duct here to hold the antenna in place so that it didn't, you know, get stuck in the props or anything like that. I don't know, maybe I could have built something and put it up here or connected it there, but you don't want it laying across the board. It'll just perform a little bit better. Now, I flew it on a bunch of batteries, but the ones I'm really liking these days are these Lavas. This Lava 300, it's getting a little over 3 minutes inside, and these Lava 260s, man, does this make it light. I was getting a little under 3 minutes inside. Outside, my flights were a little bit shorter, and then I have some older, more tired GNB batteries that didn't do quite as well as these. But, you know, again, get a bunch of batteries and just fly the heck out of this thing, because it is fun to fly. I can't wait to see what other iterations come out of this board. I'm tempted to put it on a frame like this. This is kind of like an oversized 65. I did pull this one out. I built it just because I wanted to see how this Eco camera compared. It's good. It's not nearly as good as this Lux camera, but again, it's cheaper and lighter, so something you have to consider. I think if I was a racer, I might just go with this cheaper camera. And actually, as a freestyle pilot, do you really need, you know, the best? I don't know. That's a decision you're going to have to make. But either way, super excited to see this all-in-one board and the options that it's going to create for us with pilots. I'm going to keep flying this thing inside and out. And if you are flying an aggro, don't forget to throw on crash recovery. Man, is that a game changer, flying aggro around obstacles, because it allows you to kind of bounce and keep going. I'm going to go charge up some more batteries and do a few more laps around my basement. Hey, if you're interested in one of these things, we've got links down below where you can get one. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, we'd love to have you back. Make sure you click that bell so you don't miss when we have new videos coming your way. Good luck, everyone, and happy flying.